You train your entire military life for the mission, but nobody trained you for the moment the mission ends. Welcome back to Four Titles, One Truth. I'm Tommie.
And I'm Lance. Today's episode is Transition Shock. Why retirement hits harder than we openly admit.
And joining us today is our brother, a fellow leader, my classmate, and we shared walls and offices for a year straight in two different locations.
True story.
Hey, let's welcome Command Sergeant Major retired Gabriel Camacho.
Appreciate you, fellas, man. Thank you guys for, first off, for having me here. Feel blessed to be a part of this. And more importantly, it speaks to my heart and some truths on how we need to have more conversations.
Yep.
You guys have the platform for doing it, so appreciate y'all for what you do.
Yep. Glad you're here.
Absolutely.
So let's get into it.
All right.
Let's go.
Where are you from in the world? And growing up, did you ever see the military as part of your future?
Great question. Thank you for asking that, TJ. So I am definitely I'm Mariana's homegrown, born and raised, proud son of Guam.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Not Guatemala, not what I get told every many times.
That's right outside Nashville, right?
Yeah, so the great territory out in the South Pacific. Yeah.
Right. All right. What ultimately led you to join the Army, and what path did you end up taking, and why?
Bam. All right. So, Lance, I appreciate you asking that question.
All right.
Because like I tell my kids, in order to understand where you're at now and the direction moving forward, you really got to understand where you come from.
Right.
Right. So for
Facts.
me, my Army's journey was, it obviously starts back on the island of Guam, looking for, honestly, at the time, probably the need was really for my family.
Okay.
Being a young adult, I had a wife and a kid already. My oldest, who's now my soon-to-be 27-year-old baby, and a wife. I was looking for something bigger, better. What was deep was graduating from high school. It wasn't easy for me because we were actually just carrying the burden. My youngest brother died at the age of 14, and with that, it was a good means to cope. I needed to give my family a little bit more than what I had at the time. Growing up with I would go with the normal at the time. Mm-hmm. So coming from mom and dad, 7 kids, 2 older brothers, 2 older sisters, 1 younger brother, 1 younger sister. Let me tell you, man, we we made things work, and more importantly, where I was at, already having a wife and a young kid. There was some struggles growing up. Right. And so this was a good opportunity for me to go out, do something more, and provide for my family. And at the same time, I think I needed the closure for the passing of my younger brother. Yeah. So Roke was somebody special, not just to my brother Roki was something special, not just to me and my family, but my girlfriend, now wife.
Right.
Lynette, she knew him. Yeah, she knew him super well, and that was probably one of the bigger ways for me to actually cope and actually get right in terms of who I was. Number one, spiritually, and then with my family.
All right.
I used the Army as a means to provide support, but really, in all honesty, I use it as the means, or I should say God gave me the Army as a means to give me direction to move forward.
To stabilize you.
I 100% would not have overcome his death without actually separating, getting away, and just trying to do something bigger that I didn't know I could do. Right. It was a good challenge for me personally, which meant that I needed to get some spirituality in there. Right. I got closer to God because of it, and then on top of that, very admirable, right? I got to give a shout out too to my cousin. So my cousin Rose, man, beast, Marine Corps in the 80s. She does 4 years, earns the title of Marine, and then transitioned to Army, becomes Active Guard Reserve in the Army National Guard, the Guam Army National Guard, and that was very critical for me because if there was somebody that gave me the inspiration to do it, it was absolutely her.
Okay.
Well, I got some other questions because we didn't talk enough about Lynette. So I love that woman.
Yeah, I do too.
He loves her way more than me, but she's a special person, which you can see in their children, by the way. But you met Lynette when?
So Lynette and I were actually, it's so funny. So you may find this hard to believe, but Guam being so small,
What?
everybody kind of knows everybody.
Right.
Okay.
So
Right.
I actually met her in middle school through an acquaintance. So my friends was friends. She was friends with my friends.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm going to take that. I was friends with them first because they were part of the same village. Got no towns or cities.
Okay.
Yeah, but after that, we ended up. It was actually we went through the same middle school. And then we actually started seeing each other. We got serious, believe it or not, through church school. Yeah, so she went to one of the sacrament schools that I was going to with her friend, and that was it. She laid eyes on me, and that was it. It was over. I'm
sorry, I didn't know I was going to take this turn.
I was doing the norm, pulling out some chairs, and she was like, "Who is this?
This Adonis.
Man of respect." And,
Oh, Lord.
but on the real, yeah, we actually let's see. So she's my girlfriend of 29 years. Come February 22nd, she'll be my wife of 27.
Wow.
So we've been high school sweethearts pretty much all, and then some.
Wow.
That's
Okay.
good.
So my other question is, when you were in high school, was the Army in your head?
That's a very fair question. So understanding where I was at. So after my brother's death, right?
How old were you when he passed? You said he was 14.
So I actually was still 17 at the time
Okay,
when he
got it.
passed.
Got it.
And we were in our senior year of high school. So we pushed through that together, and I'll never forget that, man. She, you talk about instruments of God, right? She 100% was that for me. She allowed me to look inwards,
Right.
recognize that I was being selfish, like, woe was me, me only having to deal with the loss of my brother, but really to look at my parents, look at my mother, how
Everybody else around you.
100%, exactly what I needed. And so we had started, getting serious about having to do things, or I would offer what I needed to do for her in senior year, because walking during her graduation ceremony, she had already found out that she was pregnant.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
Wow.
Yeah. So things
Okay.
got serious fast, and that's where the Army surfaced.
Yeah.
I was actually a pretty good student. I was pretty okay smart.
Right.
I'll go with okay smart because I did good enough on the ASVABs where I had options, but the big one, what gravitated again, I'll go back to my cousin, Sharon, Rose Sharon. She, from what she done, I had already understood what right could look like. Number one, and then really the toughness. Right there was so much macho-ness and pride in the '80s, and then you carry that to the '90s, and I'll just say that you already you knew that certain jobs or certain services in the military had more respect than others.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all. So that's why the Army jumped out to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you chose the job.
Combat medic.
And how'd you get there?
That's
91,
what I'm talking about.
91 Bravo, which turned to 91 whiskey, and then 68 whiskey.
68 whiskey.
Yeah. So the best part about being the medic was it wasn't my first option.
Okay.
But what pulled me and gravitated me to the healthcare field was actually the death of my brother. So processing this, what I knew was I knew hurt to a point where I was actually angry with God for the first time. Might be the only time I was ever angry at God. I've been shot at, blown up. I had cancer. I've done I've gone through some serious things in life. That was probably the most pivotal for me that got me closest to God.
Because it wasn't you.
100. Yeah. And so, anyways, with that, the healthcare field was a means for me to understand exactly what happened with my brother in hopes that I could stop that from my other loved ones. And that's where that's where I jumped into healthcare. I ain't throwing out shade to my recruiters at the time, but I thought it was going to be LPN that was going to get me there. I figured that I should become a nurse. Now at 68 Charlie, being an LVN would give me the stepping stones to potentially do something bigger and better. But God had plans for me, and combat medic was available exactly at the right time. And looking back, I'm never ashamed to say that God has always put me where He needs me, and I'm grateful, for giving me that guidance, that direction to be a combat medic.
Yep.
Outstanding. I appreciate that. All right. So looking back, we're talking post-retirement now. Do you think you properly prepared yourself and your family for your retirement?
I am going to have to go back to being 100% honest.
Yeah.
I had cheat codes. When it came time for retirement, again, God putting me where He needed me.
Right.
I was in, my last assignment was, in fact, the Warrior Transition Battalion, which transitioned to the Soldier Recovery Unit. And transition was my mission for almost 3 years, the last 3 years of my time in uniform. And so because of that, and TJ knows this all too well, Lance, I'm all in for the soldiers, right? So how could I not go and test different systems for transition if I didn't go through it myself?
Right.
So I was very engaged in understanding what transition was for the wounded, injured, ill who didn't have the opportunities to plan, prepare.
Right.
And a good example, I'll use one of my neighbors. Shout out, I won't say his name, but up and coming engineer, young staff sergeant. He's got the world ahead of him. More than likely going to be senior NCO, and gets into a vehicle accident. Right, loses his leg, and now he's moved. He's relocated to Brooke Army Medical Center, the only DoD Level 1 trauma center that has the Center for the Intrepid limb salvage program from soup to nuts. World-class health care, but he's now fighting to get some sort of normalcy. And then at the same time, he wasn't planning for that. So the fate, what's in the cards for him, much like everybody else in that population, man, he's going to have at least 8 months and then he's out. And what does that look like for that veteran in addition to that family?
Who had dreams and aspirations. Yeah.
So getting into the most complex of situations for transition really helped me to prepare for my own. I was very fortunate because of that. I understood I had to jump into regs at the DoD level, what that looked like, because we actually we were a family over here at JBSA. It wasn't just soldiers that we took care of, recovering service members at large. So helping Marines, the Navy, the Air Force, and we had a couple Coasties come through too that we took care of.
Right.
But sharing those resources and then ultimately helping and guiding a transition for those folks set me up to get out. I got to throw a couple shout outs to some good programs that are out there. As we know, we've gone, leaps and bounds with transition, and really, the DoD's approach now to trying to make sure that folks are set up as they hang up the uniform and they're better prepared for this shock, properly titled, by the way.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, back then, even back then, and that was only 2022 when I hung it up.
A year after
From
me,
that short time, 19 to 22, you're talking only a good handful that were still active and engaged to try and help that situation, that shock of transition.
Yes.
What really stood out to me when I say that I got to go and try everything out, I did the rehearsals, right? I did my reconnaissance. Back then, it was definitely the Wounded Warrior Project, the Warriors to Work program. I was very fortunate to come across USO Pathfinder. That was another one that actually did extremely well. They didn't just go off and, this is what we need to do. They talked about, hey, this is what's offered already by the Department of Defense. They basically enhanced it and tailored that approach to be more one-on-one back then, which was instrumental for me. And then taking best practices. I got to throw one more out there, Centurion Military Alliance. Yeah, that's another good one that, again, not necessarily just local, but at the national scale, has been able to, or I should say continues up to this day, push to help with that transition shock.
So here's a tough question.
All right.
You were very honest with that first part, but was it enough?
I would have to go with yes.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is my biggest lesson through it all was the same message that I conveyed to my formation, which was, you're not alone. You're going back to identity crisis.
That's the,
Right.
Yeah. So identity crisis is real. That understanding that, yeah, you're a service member, but you're about to be a veteran.
You were in the right place at the right time.
Absolutely.
The right job, for sure.
Okay, right.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate the intro, but now we're about to really get in
That's
there.
right.
Okay,
Let's go.
so let's go way back. What was the very first moment after retirement when it hit you? Wow, this thing is really over.
That's TJ. That is deep and that's heavy. So it's hard because it was almost twofold. So the answer to this one is after retirement.
Yeah.
It was really the month after, and that's only because I thought I was going to get 90 days off, and I apparently just went into the household and I just threw everything off for Lynette and her routine and for the fam, and I was getting booted out 30 days after that.
But that's so real. That's so real because it's two things that are really challenged in that case. Love and like.
100. 100%.
Yeah, so we can speak more on that, but okay.
But I got a caveat though. So what was real for me, it was actually before I separated, and that's when the retirement orders were approved. Yeah, I went through some things, and shout out to CSM Phil Barreto taking care of me too, and making sure I was good to get my retirement done. But getting retirement orders approved, I'll never forget that. I'm in my office, Lance, and I was like, okay, all right, this is finally happening. This is legit. And for the first time, I kind of just let my ego, my persona as a soldier down. I was like, all right, so if I'm not a soldier, what does that look like right now? And man, I sat there and I started thinking about prepping for my VA and whatnot, and head to toe, well, what's wrong with me? What is the next? What's normalcy going to look like, right, as a veteran? And that's when I discovered. I was like, man, I got some problems.
Yeah,
everything hurts.
That's the thing. Yeah,
you just mask it. You compartmentize the seniors, and that was a very real moment for me to really feel. No kidding. All right, it's over. Yeah.
Shoot, for me, it was probably at least a couple of months because I retired. I started all of the stuff probably at the beginning of June. So then I had June, July. So I mean, when you're on leave, it's like, oh, I got. It's like it was almost like a PCS leave because I was still going up to the hospital because I had to get another procedure done. So I was still seeing folks that worked with me, and they were still, hey, Colonel Taylor, hey, some that it was after
still felt.
Yeah. So then after because I had my surgery in early August, and then after that, and my retirement was official on 1 September, and I was in the house, and everybody else was gone to work, and I was just sitting there with the dogs, and it was just like, okay, I don't have to check any emails. I'm not getting any phone calls or anything. So it was like
act like people.
It was one of those where it was just. I mean, it was a quiet like. All right, okay, but I felt I was fine with it. I was fine, but it was weird just not having that. Just I was ready to go because I was getting up at 5 and going and getting into work and doing all of the stuff, getting up, walking my areas and doing. So I was so used to doing that woke up like almost in in a panic, like I was supposed to be someplace. And it's like I don't have anywhere to be. Nobody needs me. Only ones need me are my puppies, which that helped me get into a routine of okay, let's go. Take this walk, let's go do that, start doing other things. So.
There's a couple of those punches to the heart for me. The first one was when I started to realize I was retiring, and then I started to worry about was my mission complete as a transportation school sergeant major, because when I walked in that door, there was a lot that needed to be done, first off, and then there was a lot that I wanted done.
Oh, yeah.
And mission incomplete, you know what I'm saying? So that was frustration. And shout out to my boy Dotson, Sergeant Major Daryl Dotson, because he came in with the same energy. And so I felt, the more I got to know him, the more I felt comfortable leaving it to somebody, because he was younger and he had aspirations, you know, to keep going, because he was freshly, I think he was around 20, just at 20.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so it was like I felt confident that no matter what, me walking away, I felt it was in good hands. But the separation from the uniform, it's the quietness that messes you up. You don't have an email to check. You don't have somebody calling you with, and it's hard to make people understand, but when somebody calls you with life-threatening, like a soldier committed suicide or a DUI or something like that, that's what we live for. Not the situation, but we live for the opportunity to make this better, to fix
to make it right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, to make it right.
And that's where my battery is, right? And so that quiet of, the only phone ring I'm getting is spam now. You know, no government phones. Yeah, no government computers. I had to buy my own computer now. You know, so that was, you know how they say the loudness, the quiet is deafening. That
100%.
It was real. And then the final one for me that solidified it, but also took me from confident to scared, was my first visit to the VA.
Ooh.
An honest moment is when you start walking toward that building, Audie Murphy specifically, you start to see generations of soldiers, of Marines, and all that. Oh my God. And I can't speak for anybody else. My imagination is already too much, right? But I had already started putting myself in me at 70, me in the world. Yeah. And so that first visit was like, I kept seeing me, you know what I'm saying? Like there was a gentleman in an amazing wheelchair to where he could elevate it and he could lean it back and relax, and he could drive it, but he couldn't drive it by himself. You know, it had everything, and I'm just sitting there like, in the waiting room, just sitting there, and I'm just like, where's his family? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's here by himself, which is great that an older gentleman, veteran, with whatever issues he had, is able to do that stuff by himself. But I'm like, I'd want my wife here. I want my kid here. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just sitting there, and I'm just spiraling. In the hospital, 100. Man. I'm just sitting there spiraling, and I'm just like, oh, my gosh. And so Nikki, bless her heart, she had to listen, and then she had to get me out of that funk, you know, because, and the bigger part of that story is, and I've said it before to you specifically, is like my grandfather had conversations with his sons, and one of the conversation was, hey, we Jones men, we don't live past 60. My dad died at 64. Ooh. Yeah. And now I'm retiring and I'm knocking on 50.
That's right.
Does that mean I only have 14 years left to live? You know what I'm saying? So I'm spiraling. And so that's where Nikki came in. She was like, you've been fit your whole life. You know, you eat way better than your fathers and your uncles did.
Yeah, you took care of yourself.
Yeah, you know, she's giving me all these things that, you know, that's not the mark on your wall. You know what I'm saying? Right. So don't, and of course, we as men, we hear things, but it's hard for us to translate that into our thoughts. And so, but it did back me off the ledge a little bit. But that first visit to the VA, man, I was just like, woe is me, is this me, whatever you want to say, whatever small violin you want to play, but I was shook. So those are my three.
All right, so you go from being needed every day to near silence.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Deafening.
How did it feel when the calls, emails, and the constant demand for your leadership slowed down or it completely stopped?
So
what'd you do?
Yeah. For me, it was, what do I do with all this energy? Because
you got a lot of energy.
Yeah. But Nikki started this travel agent. We did it together, but no doubt about it, Jones Getaways was her idea and her passion. I was the name, I was able to bring that to the table, but at the same time, I was very well aware that it's not mine. Mm-hmm. So Sergeant Major can't walk in this business, So that was very humbling, but also very, it chipped at my ego badly, right? Just had a conversation the other day, for 25 plus years of my 30 years, people sought my opinion. Not just because I was assigned there or I was sitting in that seat, but because they trusted my way of seeing things, and then they trusted that the way I was going to present my recommendation as a non-commissioned officer at every level was for the good of the mission, for the good of the unit, for the good of the soldiers. They knew that without a doubt. I don't know how to do that for a travel agency, So
it's a little different.
Absolutely, man. So back to what I was saying, that silence is deafening. And if it wasn't for, and it's just silly, if it wasn't for sister-in-law being here, if it wasn't for meeting Lance and his wife, and bonding with them, and then him introducing us to their core family. And then when I drove into town, the first person I called was Gabriel Camacho.
That's right.
Yeah, and went and something that me and you have done. We knew each other at the academy, passing by, how you doing, brother? But you could feel his energy. Mm-hmm. I don't know what he felt, but when we ended up getting stationed together at 2ID, it was obvious to me that little brother, big brother.
100%.
Because we would talk, we would always be in the office. He would hear me vent. He would hear me go off on folks, and he would always give me honest feedback, because sometimes people need their butts chewed out, you know what I'm saying?
True story.
And he was that guy. He was like, the one thing you always said to me, he was like, the way that you go off on people, but they don't know that you're going off on them until after you're finished. He was like, that's a talent you have. So that was funny.
True story.
But our bonding over there, and grace of God, right? You were here. Y'all were here. Mm-hmm. So I had a landing pad. You know what I'm saying? So, and our conversations, especially when I first got here, me and you, was like real conversation where we were telling each other fears, and depth, because you were still borderline on if you wanted to stay in the military, because this guy was marked to be great because of his greatness. All right. And figure that out later. So you had a lot of questions that you had to deal with, dealing with 2ID when we were together, and then the conversation that continued here. And then just meeting you, and I felt I was able to at least give you a runway, a landing, because I literally was doing and finishing what you were about to start.
I tell folks I was extremely fortunate from the time when I decided to retire, because everybody else that I knew had finished met him, and I was like, okay, and us being similar, I was like, okay,
there's too many
what is this
connections.
Okay, so I was very blessed, very fortunate. So I'll take it.
What about you?
So I think that's the biggest one. So it's just proof in the pudding that God puts us where He needs us.
Absolutely.
And TJ's spot on. There was a lot, and had I not been at there was a lot to still do in the military that I could have done.
Absolutely.
But the bigger piece was I was in a good position where I had to already prepare folks for that narrative.
Yeah.
Understanding what transition was, it's just like what we do now, right? For what y'all do, to be successful for doing this, you got to do what we were charged to do in the military. Yeah. We had coaches, mentors, right, and role models.
Absolutely.
And so I sought that for folks who what I considered were good veterans. Man, so looking at this, what did they do? And transitioning out to keep it even closer with the other medical sergeants major that got out. So, what does that look like? And they warned. That was probably the biggest thing that I was able to pass off to service members as they got out. Before they got out, there's going to be that period where you were like you're somebody, and then you're going to feel like you're nobody because of that silence, because of the lack of emails, because of the text messages, the phone calls. They all just stop.
Go from being the one to...
That cliche was absolutely passed off to me, and boy, was it felt. So I did super well where I did, as any other good soldier would have done, right? I made sure that I did my recon before I got out. And I'll never forget that. It was November. It was pretty silly. I was like, all right, time to fail. let's start doing job applications. Let's start doing
resume
interviews.
together.
What do I really want to
That's
do?
right. So I hit 3 big ones, and then more importantly, I had been in a position where some good friends had threw my name out for JRTC. And so before I got out, I had already committed to my next assignment in life as a veteran. I was going to use that as my landing to actually come out.
Which surprised me.
Stay connected.
Which surprised you, boy. We had a long talk about that. It surprised you, boy.
So I was in a position again, right? So as you transition out, and I really learned the steps more hardened than anything. This approach through USO Pathfinder, but really that SMART methodology of planning. What is your plan? And that's really what I put it together. That's what I had to ask myself, and understanding as you transition what that looks like. There's 2 big buckets that you're going to hit. Number one, in terms of that identity, right? Is purpose and income. What do you need more of right now?
Right.
Are you in a financial situation that you can do more of purpose and what you want to do and what makes you feel good versus the other? Right. And that's powerful too, because most people sleep on that. When you look at your why in life, it always goes back to purpose. So what was going to be my purpose as a veteran? And that's where JRTC really helped. As I was silenced, Lynette kicked me out of the house after a month, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to work. So I found a quick need. I started working sooner rather than later, and it was just great opportunity at the time, to be honest.
Right.
Where the school opened up downtown, McCullum Cowboys. And I definitely enjoyed that. But looking back, had I not done that, I could almost certainly, I probably would have fell into a dark place. Because there was quite a bit of folks that reached out. Even afterwards, just the normal, and don't get it twisted. Lynette can tell you about the noise that still comes, what she calls noise.
Right.
I still get quite a bit of folks that reach out, but not the same in terms of those responsibilities. The ones, the phone calls that you had to answer, right? When you don't have those come in, you're like, oh. So for me, it was great that I had that ability to transition the way I did, plan, and then actually start moving out and stay busy right off the bat with some good purpose.
And this is something y'all can relate to, and it just popped in my head. The fact that when you're a senior leader and when you're in that grind, being able to shut your door is amazing. Right?
True.
You know what I'm saying? It's amazing. It's amazing.
Golden.
But then you retire. You ain't got no
doors to shut.
You know why?
Ain't nobody coming in. Ain't nobody coming.
That's what I was about to say. Because ain't nobody coming up in that joker. So that's crazy.
I mean, I was good. I was ready because I had did the year. Well, not even years. Probably about 8 months before I dropped my paperwork and things got approved, and I finally got orders and all of those things. So I was good with that.
You had your path out was very well defined compared to us, because yours was your health,
right,
and for your family,
right.
So I would,
right. It was that, but the thing that I guess that's probably why I was fine with it, but I still felt like finally get to the point where, damn, I know this job. I know this job. I know I'm helpful. It's beneficial. So that's the piece that got me, was like, I know this. I know all of it. Finally at the point where it's like, I'm
the subject matter expert.
I'm comfortable with stuff.
Absolutely.
And I'm super confident with how I'm, going about it. And you get to that point where you know how to really guide folks and be able to understand, and it was just like, I'm leaving now, and what am
finally
I
graduated.
Yeah, so
I'm with you,
what
man.
it was.
Yeah,
So, but,
I'm with you.
But yeah, I got out, and it was strictly health stuff, because I started having health problems related to stress from and it was like, I can't, I can't do it. I'm too close to being done to letting this do me,
No,
put me out. So,
right.
And so my flip on that was, it probably hit you harder because you weren't going out on your own. You know what I'm saying?
That's a
I
good
was,
point.
Yeah.
but I was, but I still, because I was at the point where I knew I wasn't gonna be able to do more than 30. So
But you were locked in on 30 when I met you.
I was gonna do 30.
Yeah.
I was gonna do 30 till
Yeah.
So
till I
did
got
have
up
a
in
goal.
there.
That's
yeah,
what I'm
that's why I was
saying.
gonna do
So-
30 because I beat Audra, so she only did 28. So I don't,
He won the race.
yeah,
That's funny.
went a little bit further. That's it. So
All right. So a lot of us treat retirement like it's the finish line, because when we grow up, we're told retire, especially our generation. It's definitely changed.
right.
That's right.
So when did you realize it was actually the starting line of a new race?
I look at that as we talked about this before. It's like we're changing. So, we changed from when we were, when I was second lieutenant and y'all started off as privates, to when you were in that mid-level piece to
Did it
being
come
a senior
across
level.
like he was bragging when he said that?
No.
I don't want to call him out.
Different paths.
I don't want to call him out, but it
different paths.
sort of
Different paths.
seemed
No.
Okay.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
It's not.
I was a little bit older than you as a second lieutenant then. But is the changing, is the changing, the learning, and that's the way that I looked at it whenever I was finishing, was that something new. What am I? And I guess that was a little bit of the fear was, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Do I need to go back to work? Am I going to get bored? Because you have people that you're going to get bored.
Yeah.
You're going to, that people tell you all of these things. So it's like, and you just wait. So it was almost like at the beginning, waiting for it to happen. It's like, I'm not bored yet. It's like, it's something wrong with me because that's not happening. I just looked at it as the evolution of Lance. Let's what's going to happen, and I was open to whatever it was. But as long as I was happy, the family was happy. Then I'm like, okay, then I'm doing something right. I'm gonna continue doing what I'm doing. So.
That's pretty solid, and I'm not going to lie. It always goes back for me. And TJ, I appreciate you bringing this up, because it does. You frame the reality that transition is not the same for everybody, right? And there's some people that are within their cards. They get to have a goal, and they get to transition, and they get to call the cards on how it is. Yeah. And so for me, my service was actually cut a little bit short. I actually thought I was gonna do. up to at least 25 years, because planning wise, my youngest would be out of school, done.
That's what made sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But things had changed, and the primary reason for me to getting out was my family. And so with my son, my oldest son, going through some things, stationed right here in San Antonio with me, having my grandson, I knew where I needed to be.
Yeah.
And so that's why I chose to retire. Yeah. And going all in on that, it stopped again. I had to stop, look inwards and upwards, right, for that real reality and growth to understand that, man, I could be doing more for my family.
Yeah, that's powerful too, man. Especially if you can look at that and realize, especially if you're doing something that you like, love.
That's right.
I mean,
that's right.
But
so,
it's
walk away
twofold,
from
though.
it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm stepping up because it was there, but you could also, my personality, I could see how it would be an irritant because I'm like, do y'all understand what I gave up to do that? But that's the ego.
It holds
in me.
animosity.
Yeah.
But that's also important too, because I'll go back again to a bigger reason, or I should say my identity. I've always been, my life priorities, people hate hearing it, but I got blessed because, again, with the grind that I had, the upbringing that I had, I knew exactly what I was going to be doing. My time, right, that God has given me here in this earth, my priorities were always the same. My God, my family, my friends, my work. Right. I honestly learned that I learned that as a private. Yeah, and it was really hard at 20 years old. Is when I got to really understand that's what I was here for. That's
DNA.
what was important. Yeah. And so for me, as much as the Army was my family, I knew that I needed to take the time that I was given, whatever time God was giving me left, and I needed to give it a bit more. To be a better husband, to be a better father to my kids, and then now grandpa status. But that was the.
I'm not congratulating you because I don't have any great kids.
No yet.
In quiet, I'm supporting you and I'm proud of you. No.
But that was definitely the discovery. That's when I recognized. I was like, holy moly. I gotta get. This is gonna be the new race. This is gonna be. I gotta do as much as I can with the time that I have left here, and I gotta do more for my family.
Yeah.
Especially, and I don't want to keep going back to it, but your second stint, CSM and JROTC, is where you had to continue to have the same toolkit and improve on that, but you were still military minded.
100%.
So that's a reason why I didn't go that route. I wanted to because I felt I fit there, but I also knew that I would never change who I was. And that was a fear of mine. So
you just talked about how humbling it was because let's be honest, I loved being a JROTC instructor, but Lynette had to remind me again of what I got out of the uniform. So when your wife tells you, man, it's like first sergeant hours, I was like, oh, stop, my bad. My bad. Let me step back. Let me slow it down.
When I first retired, it was already understood because Nikki had already told me, take a year off and figure out what you want to do. Because we had the business, I was traveling with her, and I actually started traveling like right after retirement, and it was just like, it was great. It was great.
It was a thing.
No, that couldn't have been bad.
It was great.
There's no negatives here right now.
but I'm not the always party guy. I'm not the always drink guy.
That's right.
I feel there's more to my message, to my being, and and I know we don't talk a lot about it, but legacy, that's one of those things where you start to consider, and one thing about legacy in the military as a senior leader, you're always getting approached. Your door's always getting knocked on by people who want your advice. And I'm not just talking about what duty station people would tell you about their marriage situation. You got people that tell you about their kids' situation. People that tell you about leaders that failed them, and you have to sit there and not pick up the phone and call them joker and say, what in the world?
Yeah.
Because that was something I hate when, I don't care if you liked your leader, because I know I was not a loved person all the time, especially if people didn't want to follow the standards. If you as a leader didn't have and this is for life too, if you as a leader do not have the best intention of those you lead, you shouldn't be there.
Amen.
That's all I'll say about that.
Amen.
Yeah.
The silence, the change, and like I told you, my energy and going on vacations, all of that was great, but I didn't have purpose in my heart. And that's something that I really want to make sure we point out, that everybody that retires, and I'm saying this, everybody that retires goes through this. A huge majority of them won't admit it.
True story.
That's the problem. And they end up with mental health issues, end up spiraling, and unfortunately some even may kill themselves or ruin their marriages or what have you, because you won't talk about it. You won't admit that this has shaken you. And if you can't admit that leaving something that you gave your all to after 20 or 30 or more years, then you need to talk to somebody.
True story.
That's
Bottom
the
line.
thing. That communication piece
Oh my gosh.
is such a simple thing, because we're sitting up here and we all
Yeah.
went through it, and we can talk about it
Yeah.
to say, no, you're okay. That's you're feeling the right way.
Yeah.
That is the appropriate way
Absolutely.
to feel. But this is what you probably need to start looking at, next. Or look into this thing. Give you some options.
That's
So
right.
that you're not sitting there just stewing.
And the last thing I'll say about this is that there are ones that won't talk about it. But the three of us sitting here, it's affected us differently. But we all have commonalities, common points,
True
right?
story.
But the spiral of depression that I felt, I don't expect them to feel or go to the level I went to. But I can talk to them because, specifically we talk about Gabriel. His religion and his faith is something that I don't have, right? And so talking to you and hearing how you made it, it makes me feel okay. You know what I'm saying? It makes me say that maybe I should adjust the way I'm living and thinking. You know what I'm saying?
Right, it's doable. I mean, it's like, this is doable. I can make it through this.
I'm going to have to jump on just to close it on. And this is why I said what I said, opening up. Yeah. What you guys do is powerful, because the communication that goes on this platform, man, I know for a fact that it makes y'all feel good, because it takes it out and you're sharing it.
Yeah.
But man, the opportunity to touch so many others who are listening, that's why it's important that communication is real.
Yeah.
And just out of chance, I'm praying that somebody is going to get touched that does need it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
And
the
at a
goal.
minimum,
That
realize
is the goal.
you're not alone.
Nope.
And then reach out to somebody.
Yep.
Yeah.
Please. All right, Camacho, this one's for you. Retirement can be surprisingly lonely. Where did you feel that the most, and how did you deal with it?
This was one that really resonated with me. Not just for the veterans, right, that I reached out to, but man, doing pulse checks on my soldiers in transition that had retired, and then or I should say transitioned, right? Not all of them retired, but even my friends that did retire, they all talked about this. And a big thing that we were always more concerned about as you looked out as veterans, looked at the veteran population, was in fact the isolation and suicide, and where it comes from, right? And that's something that I needed to plan for and really think about what I still continue to feel are important to me on the daily, right? The things that I do. Man, Lynette will always laugh because I say this, but it's true. She has to deal with this, whatever it looks like every day.
Right.
The moment I wake up and man, I get out of bed and I pull the John Travolta, right? Real talk.
Staying alive.
Boom. Yeah, just up there.
Right.
And then for my kids out there, or the new generations that watch anime, My Hero Academia, right? Freaking, yeah, just going up. But I thank God for the extra chance, man, to do something more, for the opportunity to live a little bit more, right? Giving me another day here on this earth. Yeah, I do proceed with the prayer, and that I go with thanks, and then I ask to give me strength and guidance to whatever it is He wants me to do here in this earth, and then I let it ride. Yeah. And so because of that, that was really big. That direction to make sure that I knew that I had to stay busy so that I wouldn't suffer from the silence. Right. And the big part of filling the day, it goes to making a difference in one or two ways. You're either getting paid for it or not, right? Yeah. And that was big. I looked to make sure that I did as much as I could, whatever I'm not feeling. And really, it goes back to my life planning in December. In December, I'll stop, take a pause, and I'll look at the year back. What is it that I did good? What is it not so good? And then back to my priorities. What can I do better at? Mm-hmm. And so the next year is always the same. So where I was lowest, the bucket, I would address those. Mm-hmm. But at a minimum, I'm trying to do as much as I can, to be a person of faith. I'm trying to do the best that I can to be, a good family man, which really entails rooted to my culture, making my kids understand their cultural ties and staying big as, indigenous people to the island of Guam, Chamorro, and then Lynette's side, in the Mexican culture too. Okay. Don't even have to try because we're in Texas. Let's be real. But
we can't touch it.
That's right. But the friends and the work piece, it almost goes hand in hand, because the family that we built right in the military. Man, you call them family, you call friends. There's that bleed over, and it's just making sure that I'm there for them. Yeah. I do as much as I can for my community, and then within that piece too, also the veteran community, and that's really how I make sure that I don't have to feel that loneliness. I don't think I've ever felt that. And again, Lynette will always double down on that fact. Brother gets noise.
I hear you. Yeah. So for me, it's a little different, and the reason I say it's different is because in my mind, just like you said earlier, Lance, I knew I deserved to be where I was because I knew the work that I put in there. And the hard choices and the combat and leading soldiers to, and no, if you haven't done it, you'll never understand that taking soldiers to combat is the most stressful and most life-changing, as well as gut checks for a leader that you could ever come across. And the Army was me. I was the Army, right? I felt, yes, on paper as a sergeant major, I spoke for the Army, right? But I felt I could speak for the Army because I believed in what the Army could be, right? And I really, every day was like a new battery, being able to get in there and go to work. So when I retired, trying to find purpose that will help you succeed in your new goals is tough. My main focus once I retired was to get back the time that I've lost with Nikki. That was my goal. And when you're setting such a hard goal, that limits what you can do, right? Because I didn't want to get back into a job outside of the house that took me away from the house, and we ended up falling back into that, me not being here, her being comfortable with that, and then all that. So I had to make the decision, how much money do I need, versus do I want to, or should I help Nikki with her goals and her dreams, because she suffered enough for me. You know what I'm saying? The reason I was feeling lonely is because even though we're all good friends, we're men. We don't always talk about the stuff that we need to talk about. We don't always reach out when we need to reach out. And so I was, to be Army, marking time. You know what I'm saying? I was in one spot, continually moving, but not going, darn place, right? And so the loneliness for me was strong because I didn't know how to pull myself out of it, because I've been religious most of my life, but that connection is sort of deteriorated. And of course it's me, you know, but it's my earthly mind interfering with my heart. The thing that helped me get out of that dark space, and the thing that's helped me improve my energy and my sense of humor and my want, not just to live, because I've never not wanted to do that, but my want to be happy, right? That is by me redefining my purpose, finding something that catches my interest, something that allows me to consider legacy, but also allows me to not waste these 30 years of training and schooling and experiences and just sit down and talk over a cigar.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
So powerful.
Yeah. There's too many people in this world that have the lens that I have and more, that are by themselves because they think they're the only ones suffering. And I'm at a point now where it comes to travel, when it comes to this podcast, it's an opportunity for me to be as honest as I possibly can, so people can make their own decision about how they want to move forward. So
I don't know if I have felt lonely. I mean, because I just finished in September of 24.
Yeah.
And like I said, I mean, I feel like I just have the best support group, you know, just friends and people that if I wanted to reach out to, I could, you know, and because I would do it whenever I was in active duty, just having friends that were in different jobs and MOSs would be like, hey, what did you do? But, you know, so, I mean, I feel like for me, I guess, where to feel lonely, or that lonely feeling was coming from me inside, where it's like, am I supporting my family, my people? Am I doing enough? Am I doing enough for them? Or me not working, or, you know, having the positions and things that I have, am I
extra money
worthy? Yeah. I mean, it's that piece where it's like in my head, which I know that they come home, I made them a meal or cleaned, you know, it's just so, and that stuff that I remember is like, I was appreciative of those things where it's like, oh, shoot, I ain't got to cook tonight, you know, or those little things, or I guess is what I try to focus on now, because I know that I've had those decisions. Me and Audra had those decisions or discussions as far as who wants to go to work and who wants to do. I mean, and knowing that that's her person, she has that energy, like time where she just has to be, you know, going and doing and does an awesome job at it, and I don't have to. I mean, I feel like I'm at that point where I don't have to do that to feel like, okay, I'm good doing what do you need me to, I mean, I'm more of a, I guess now it's like, what do you need me to do? What can I do? What can I do to help you out? You know, on that subject. But but with her, we had those, like I said, conversations, and it was like, yep, nope, you do this and you're happy. Yep, I'm gonna do this and I'm happy, and that's what we've been. That's how I've been operating. And then when we started this podcast, it's just, I mean, I don't have a reason to be. That's right. I don't have a reason to be lonely like that, because I know that I have folks that I can reach out to and talk to if I'm ever feeling a certain way, you know. So
I appreciate you sharing that. That connection is powerful, because again, in service, that network, right, is in fact what made us
Yeah.
successful.
Absolutely.
But it has always applied to us, even when in uniform.
Yeah.
So the people in our lives, right, that hold us up.
Yep.
But that's the thing about friendship, though. A mature level of friendship is, and I'm speaking for me as a man with my freaking lenses. I don't trust every man.
Fair enough.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then to trust someone enough to start to open up to them, it's going to take some time. And then the reality of it is, until you stop moving, like no more PCSs for your boy.
True story.
We had this conversation that my closest friends are my neighbor across the street, my neighbor behind me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because those are the ones that you can reach out to, you can see more often. Developing those relationships, it takes time.
Good point.
And it also takes a bonding situations and moments. But the bigger question is, do you take advantage of it and then make them a part of your new tribe, your
True
new family?
story.
So,
True story.
yeah. How did the weight and volume of what you were responsible for shift after retirement, and what did that do to you mentally?
So this is big because, again, it goes back to something that I talked about already.
Yeah.
I had to answer this question when I decided to retire because that was the reason.
Right.
So no doubt the amount of time and effort that I was putting into others, and I have to say others because that's what the Army's
Absolutely.
always been to me. It's always been the people.
Selfless
that
service.
that just made it.
Absolutely.
Right here. It just made it.
Yeah.
How do I turn that off? How do I pivot that and put more into my family?
Right.
And when I say my family, it is, in fact, again, at the time, my wife will never admit this. Lynette will always say, "Oh, you were just thinking about your son and your grandson. That's why you're trying." No, it was her,
Yeah.
her well-being. The two younger ones.
Yeah.
When I say younger ones, it's so funny.
Right.
My 22-year-old girl, my 18-year-old son, my 18-year-old baby.
Your kids.
Yeah, that's right. My kids. Yeah.
Your kids.
And,
Great kids, too.
I think the bigger thing is there was a tremendous amount of time that I had missed.
Yeah.
Being in uniform.
Yeah.
And so recognizing that as I
That's
pivot
it.
now,
Yep.
getting out of that space, what do I fill it with and what do I do?
Purpose.
And I feel that weight that,
Yeah.
you just kind of framed, TJ. It's
Yeah.
so fitting because that's what it is.
Absolutely.
What am I going to do with the time to be better for them?
Yep.
And it started with me. Now I have to all of a sudden reprogram and what am I going to, grip versus gravity? What am I going to accept that's okay and not okay? Going back to the whole, instead of 90 days being able to take off, nope. I only survived 30.
Yeah.
Man, I reprogrammed the house. I was trying to reprogram the house.
Well, it's you adjusting to, because you're coming into their environment.
And guess
So
what?
you adjusting to them and not them adjusting to you.
And that's
right.
okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's still hard.
Oh,
and I
that's
know I
my
should be-
point. Oh, my God.
And it's
But-
still constant.
Oh,
yeah.
my God. But that's okay. My response to this is real simple. It's, yes, there's a change in responsibility, but there's not a change in effort. Because, like you just said, I'm in a new environment with someone I would die for,
That's
right,
right.
in a heartbeat. She has goals. Why wouldn't I? You know what I'm saying? And-
100%.
absolutely. But the problem with me is sometimes that's a battle.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's a battle, and it's not because there's less love. It's not because it's literally because of this big chip I got right here. I start to feel jealous. Something I normally wouldn't admit to a bunch of men when I'm sitting around, but I start to feel jealous because I see her passion, and that's how I used to be about something. But then I check myself, and I'm like, she's passionate. Why can't I just be passionate about her being happy? You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say, I think that's the piece where when you are successful and you are the man and you are, and you're just doing stuff.
Yeah.
You have people supporting you. Then you got to flip that,
Yes.
and you got to be the one supporting them. So if you know that you're the one that's supporting that person or persons to get to their goal, then it's like, I mean, that's because that's my.
It's a win.
It's like it's like supporting my people, or who. It's like, what do you need? That's what I said. What do you need? It's because I want you to be successful. Because I'm happy. Because I was extremely happy with where I finished, where I ended, what I did. I have no. I mean, you can always look back and go, man, I wish I would have did this different or did this, but how it all ended up, man, I can't complain about any of that stuff, man. So me being here, me being there to support my folks and watching them excel, just watching my wife excel after starting her second career and watching her move how she's moving, I'm like, I'm a lucky dude. What do you need? What can I do for you? Because I'm happy doing what I'm doing now and don't feel like I need. Sometimes it's like, man, I could go do that and maybe we could go get this out. Get this other thing. Whatever.
This
but
other
it's
house.
Like,
just something
but
simple
it's not
like that.
Something where it's like
it's deeper than
have
that.
To. I mean,
it's
it
deeper
is.
Than that. And acknowledging that.
But I'm going to have to ask this of both because, I mean, I love where that, you're going with this, but you both were just as successful in the military where, man, you had a bigger microphone than most, right?
Yeah.
When you spoke, people listened and then
stopped moving.
How about the fact that, again, the level of success that you had, and with that comes with the mindset and the reality. You guys know how to win, right? Yeah. That's what we needed to do in the military. We fight to win. To be able to pull back, how hard was that to adjust to actually do that, to be there for your loved ones?
Yeah. And like I said, it's easy for me to say, of course I'd do it. And that's it. But like I said, oh my God. And I'll just put my situation out here. Nikki is the face, the talent, the knowledge for the travel business, right? I do not fit in that. I am the plus one that brings the energy. And that's okay. That's right. That's good. I'm good with that. But there are times when I'm like, what you should do. And then I have to sit there and say, well, first I have to take the butt whooping I get for talking like that. Even having my boy over here the other day.
To you too,
well, he chewed me out the other day. But it's just that you have to. And I'm clicheing my butt off but you have to get comfortable with what the new you requires, and not be as scared to change.
Know your role.
That's my thing.
Know your role.
Accept your role.
Know your role and accept.
And I'm that little dude in my head fighting like crazy to still be the relevant, the one that when I walk out the door, it seems like everybody be like, Tommie!
Yeah, that's right. The in charge, right? Yeah.
But the reality of it is most of them say, hey, where's Nikki? It's a win. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's and right. It took me forever. And remember, I retired in 21. I'm just now starting to feel that I'm contributing instead of my little ego feeling hurt that I'm not running side by side with her. You know what I'm saying?
But that's the thing. It's like you're trying to get your ego and your mind straight. Because I bet if you go and you ask her, hey, how do you... She'd be like, that joker is doing my marketing. He is what you call it, editing these. I mean, you are contributing to that success.
It's nothing.
You ain't
but
the
ego.
head man. You're not the face.
What I said. It's nothing but ego.
You are.
It's nothing but ego and pride that is non-existent. Yep. It's pride that's not. Why am I so prideful of myself? And it's an answer that I can answer all the time, but sometimes I don't believe it. In other words, she's winning, we're winning. Yep. I found something that I am fired up about. I can get angry about. I can get excited about. I'm learning. I don't need pats on the back by anybody.
Right.
but there's still Sergeant Major Jones.
Yeah, that was about to
That when I would walk in a schoolhouse and the whole thing would lock up.
This is real
You know what I'm
talk.
saying?
This is real
And
talk.
that's not a joke.
that's
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just like,
But you sharing that just again, it just illustrates, man. It just shows again, it's hard. it's hard to transition.
but the only person or
It's-
thing in your way is you.
Yourself.
Amen.
That's the whole point. It took me
Always.
4 years to figure that out.
That's any of us always.
That's it. That's right.
Yeah. So you had years to prepare for retirement, yet something still caught you off guard. What was it? I'm trying to think
That's fine. Let me.
what got me.
Mine's right here.
Okay, go ahead.
Yours ready too?
Go ahead, y'all. I
You
mean,
go
yeah.
first. Yours in the hey, mine's in the damn. I'm ready. Go ahead.
So, for me, again, it goes back to, man, how easy it is to plan this, and this. As a soldier, but doggone it, man, when you retire and you get out and you're no longer a soldier, you forget how important it is to put your family in there as part of planning. And so what their wants, what retirement and transition looks like for them, man, that caught me off guard.
Yeah.
And so I'm very, I love the fact, I was just having this conversation last weekend at dinner, right? The reality is we come from different cultures and traditions and even religion drive shape who we are,
Right.
and then there's social acceptance.
Absolutely.
There's reality. There's the reality that depending on where you living, society at large, or even just within that area,
Right.
will have certain expectations of what
Absolutely.
you should be doing.
Yeah, and limitations.
So
Yeah.
I come from the upbringing back home, back on Guam, where, man, you grow up into the house. You don't leave that
Yeah.
house unless you're getting married.
Right.
And sometimes, man, you get married and bring
them on home.
Yeah, in too. And
Yeah.
so I almost lost that completely because I was still fixated on what
Your success.
in my mind was what I wanted for my kids.
Yeah.
I want you to get up, get a good education, get your degree, and then figure out what your passion is and move forward and go on and move out of the house and do big things and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it was, again, I'm very grateful for Lynette, my best friend. Boy, does she ground me, and I see God through her when she hits me with reality like that. Being able to just be around our kids and having them in the house as they continue to move and figure this out.
It's an unbelievable blessing.
But not even thinking that,
Yeah.
as we're doing this for our kids, we can do this for our siblings too.
Yeah.
So helping out her sister, bringing her sister in with her kids too, taking care of her mom.
Right.
I'm on a kind of this rotation where I take care of my mom now that when my father passed, it allowed the opportunity for her to come out
Right.
and see me every year now, where I get to spend 6 months with her.
Right.
Yeah, there is so much more involved, and the only time you'll get to hit those, in other words, those blind spots, is remembering that if you have a family, that's your family's future plan, not just yours.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily what you want and what's best for everybody else. It's really what they want too, and that was huge for me.
It's trying to get them to where you were or better. You know what I mean? Because I guess that's the biggest thing.
Which is
For
also
me, it's just
a problem.
trying to get my kid. It's like I want you to do
More.
better. More than what better than what I did instead of.
Yeah.
I mean, and I always find myself going back to I want them to be happy, I want them to be able to take care of themselves, be good.
But that's down
Good
here.
adults.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
That's down
always,
here.
I mean, because you
'Cause you still want-
always,
yeah.
you
I-
always
yeah.
want them to be, because it's like
You
you
want 'em-
you always move to the place where you got the good schools.
That's right.
You always try to get them. You say, "What do you need? You need those extra flash? Here, get these flashcards right here." You try to do all of those things to
man.
try to
Preach.
give them give them
leg
an
up.
advantage.
Yeah, that's
give
right.
them an
Yeah,
advantage.
absolutely.
And I think for us, when we retire, then I think we have to look at ourselves as the base, the springboard for them, the safe place for them to be able to come back and, because my kids went to college, graduated from college, got good degrees, but they're still in the house with me. So if anything caught me off guard in the retirement deal was, I was expecting it to be me and my wife. Me and
too.
Audra together. I thought it was going to be the two of us. And then I got these two adults.
That's right.
Here, you know, in the house, which it's a blessing because I think of the time, all of the times
when you were there
in the military. Yeah, when I didn't get to see them or spend those time because I was away. Because again, I know we talked about this before, but I missed the first 3 years of my son's high school because I'm stationed someplace. I had to be stationed someplace else.
And that's when you felt he needed you
and
the
that's
most.
where I was like, man, I felt like like I was failing him as a not being there for him to teach him those, be there every day for him to try to teach him those things to be a man, a good man. Every day he has access to me. Yeah, he has access to me to come talk to me and Dad. I'm I'm eager for it. It's like, look, dude, don't do this. I did that dumb crap. Don't or you should do this or look at this or look at it in this way. That was a low part, lonely part for me. And that was
mine was simple, the loneliness, and it was walking away from the military. I understood the positives of all that. I used to always say it's in my DNA. It really felt like it was in my DNA when I got out, because when I got out, you know what I'm saying?
Me too.
And when I got out, I pretended to be okay with, this will fill this in. Like, I built a new home. Let's focus on that. That'll fill that dead space. Going traveling. Let's go here. That'll fill that dead space. But all that stuff comes to an end at some point. You can only do so much to a house.
True story.
You're not going to spend 365 days on vacation. So when I was doing that stuff and being all energetic and for that, and then you come home and then you realize you're not by yourself if you talk about it. But if you don't talk about it,
amen,
you're by yourself.
It's a different feeling.
Yeah.
I mean that's the only way that I can put it. I mean, especially for me, say it's just different. The way I would feel when I would be at work with my people, making decisions, solving problems, helping. I mean, it's
you're that
different.
piece in Jenga.
Yeah.
That one piece, that one
like,
piece.
don't let it fall, don't let it.
Yeah, that one piece.
I mean, it's a different feeling that you got to get used to, adjust, and find something else to go. Okay, this is what I'm putting in there now.
Agree. So, start back with you there, Camacho. If you could sit down with yourself, you on one side of the desk, him on the other side, a year before his retirement, what would you say to him?
That's a solid one, because I've actually thought about this, and it's always the had I only known, right, conversation that you have.
Yeah.
I was good because I'd already done my rehearsals.
Yeah.
Right, and I didn't go full blown into my recon phase until 6 months out. That's when I was pretending, all right, so I'm retired now. What does that look like?
Right.
But before that, I wish I would have done that a whole lot sooner, because that really would have set me up just to think more on the financial side. When I got out, I wasn't hurting for money,
right?
Which is why I just needed some money. I didn't need a lot of money,
right? And that's what you have to accepting. What money you need is a hard decision too.
And had I looked at it holistically, where I wasn't just more all in on my, filling my purpose, being a teacher, a JROTC instructor, I probably wouldn't have done that. I probably would have went straight out to contracting to what I'm doing now. Well, and then some doing a couple businesses. But the reason why I say that is, as much as I needed that for my transition out, I feel like I could have set myself up more financially to help my family out a whole lot more. That's it. And so that was like I guess there's three things that I didn't like about JRTC. I couldn't use the bathroom when I needed to. I had to wait. Brother had to shave. And then on top of that too, just like, the problem we've always had with teachers, they don't get paid a lot for the amount of effort, the time, and difference that they make. Yeah.
Dealing with your kids.
Yeah.
I get it.
That would have been probably the biggest thing, just to remind them, hey, to remind myself a year out. So this is really
Right.
what you're probably going to need more of versus your want.
Gotcha.
And just take a harder look at that. I was all in on teaching. On my mom's side, it goes generations deep. And I was like, man, wouldn't it be cool if I did that? On top of that, I'm going to still be in the uniform, so I'm kind of a soldier, but I'm kind of not. And then the bigger piece was just making a difference, right? So getting into the space of these other, I should say, the future, right? Yeah, because not all of them were going to join the military, but it really was the opportunity to shape the future. And I go back to, again, my life priorities. I know I always go back to the reality. You know how well of a job you did in whatever profession you're in, because you do get those callbacks. Those, hey, do you mind coming to my promotion? Hey, do you mind coming to my retirement ceremony? Yeah, and then you flip it. Hey, I just want to let you know I actually did get my GED. I want you to know I got my first degree. I got my associates. I'm back off. I'm off probation, and I'm actually doing good on my GPA. This and that reach back lets you know that it's worth it.
Absolutely.
But for me, I probably should have had a bigger conversation. Hey, probably do need to look financially just to set yourself up a little bit more, so I don't have to grind as much as I'm doing now, so that I can hit my financial goals of retirement in the next 5 years.
So you're taking care of a lot of folks too.
True story. Yeah.
So I mean that I'm sure that changed.
That weighs,
what you were.
That's exactly it.
Thinking about doing so.
And that was that blind spot that I wasn't prepared for, that I didn't think about. Yeah. And I should have known the big heart that Lynette's got. I didn't take that into consideration.
Understood.
Yeah, I don't know what I would have said. I mean, differently, because because I worked all the way until
time to go.
Yeah, till it was time to go. But I had to because I didn't have a replacement.
Yeah.
So I wish. If anything, I wish I could have. Came.
A little more time.
Eased up. Eased up. A month or two prior to actually being done, just to do some of the paperwork stuff and really give the transition classes the attention, and like, oh man, I could do it. Because it's like I still got some of the stuff now. It's like, oh man, that looks pretty interesting. I wish I should have looked at that a little more, at the time. So
was I in that class?
Yeah. Because a lot of it was just. Because it was just checking the blocks. You say to say, okay, I can go.
100%.
So that's the one thing I wish I would have.
A lot of knowledge in our old notes.
Really pushed for them to have my replacement there sooner than.
That's good. Yeah.
Not being there when I left, because I was still answering questions. That's the other thing. Why I felt like I was still connected to it while I was on. Transition leave, terminal leave, and all of that stuff, because I was still getting phone calls like, "Hey, Colonel Taylor,
I was not doing that.
Did you notice, or what's this number?" And it's like, okay, yeah. So I'm, felt like I was still working a little bit, but not really cutting that umbilical cord from them. So,
well, for me, it's just, and I try to say this to anybody. It wouldn't be just reserved for me. It's just find your purpose. Understand that once you leave the military, you're not in the military anymore. That's something was hard for me to get that second layer of skin off of me. Yeah. And so I would just tell myself, be prepared for the change you have to do, because the world's not changing for you anymore. You are not that guy anymore. You know what I'm saying? If you can understand that you have to change and adjust because you're out of the military, then that gives you an opportunity to start looking for things that can make you happy, that can make your family happy, and it opens up your mind so much. Yeah. Because my mind when I was retiring was just locked in on leaving the service gracefully. It wasn't so much about, seriously, Tommie, what do you want to do? Seriously, Tommie, can you really support Nikki the way you should? And if you don't think you can, what do you need to fix about yourself so that you can?
What are you gonna do?
Those type of talks is what I would have with myself, because I think everything else, I think I was built to survive, and because of our success in our career, we set ourselves up, whether we want to admit it or not. We're far from broke, right? That's the baseline that we have, and then everything after that, why not push towards something that's going to make you happy, make your family happy, and all that stuff? And that would have saved me about 3 years of mental struggle. Yeah, mental struggle. So, look, the bottom line is this conversation matters. And if you can't tell by our passion, just listen to our words then. Because if you're approaching retirement or already in it, we hope this reminds you that what you're feeling isn't weakness. What you're feeling, you're not alone. And also, it's part of the transition.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that this would really go for military folks and if you're a civilian.
Absolutely.
I mean, because if you stay in a job as a civilian for 30, 40 years, it's going to be a huge change whenever you hang up that stethoscope, boots, whatever your profession was.
Whatever you carry.
Yeah. So
I got one before we shut it down. I do. If there's a message that I want to put out there for this episode, TJ hit it up. If there's a message that needs to be overstated about this, the transition shock is real. Number one,
yes.
What TJ said is on point. You're not alone.
No.
There's so many resources that are out there that you can take advantage of. Number one. But don't forget to fall back on what made you successful, what made you win in the military.
Right.
Absolutely.
Get yourself a mentor, man. And again, go back to Teach Coach Mentor, right? That's how we built others and take that same model. Who can I identify to latch on and help me out to help guide me?
Yep.
And my last thing is honestly for my veterans out there, just please tell your story.
Yeah.
Because the reality is, that's the only way we can understand that
we're not alone.
Yep.
Exactly.
There's others out there that have done it.
100%. Yeah, 100%. I appreciate you both.
Appreciate you, man.
Yep. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it.
Yeah.
Please.
And hey, brother, thanks for joining me again when I called and asked for help. And then thanks for being on our podcast, man.
We appreciate you.
Appreciate the energy and everything you brought to it, man.
That's what we do. We take care of each other.
That's right.
At least that's what we're supposed to do.
That's right. So join us next time so we can keep the conversation going.
There it is.
All right.
Hey, holla.
Peace.
Bam.